Shalom, friends. It was over a year ago when we were interviewing for the position here at Shari Tzedek that I shared with you for the first time some Torah, and it was about this week's Parsha, Parashat Chukat. The Parashat Chukat opens with the description of the Para Aduma, the red heifer. And this is a mitzvah which is supposed to be confusing. They tell us that Chukat Torah, this is the law of the Torah, meaning that you're not going to understand it, you just have to accept it as a law. Now, it contains also this wonderful phrase where it says, Zot Torah Adam ki yamut bo'el. This is the Torah of when a man dies in a tent. And there it teaches us how a person can contract tumat mate, the impurity, the defilement that comes with encountering a corpse. The Zohar, however, reads this pasuk, Zot Torah Adam ki yamut bo'el, and says that this is the Torah, a dead man in a tent. It says quite shockingly, in fact, that the Torah can become impure. The Torah itself can have tumat mate. Just as a corpse is a body that has no soul anymore, so too if we teach Torah in such a way that it's just a body and not a soul, this is tumat mate. The Arizal's primary Talmid, Reb Chaim Vital, writes in his introduction that if we teach the Torah only as a book of instruction, do this, do that, what we're actually doing is we're turning the children of the king into slaves. That we are meant to be the children of the king. We have a personal relationship with the King of Kings, with Hashem, and the Torah is meant to be facilitating a personal connection that we have with God. But if we reduce it to only do this, do that, to a body without a soul, that's tumat mate, and therefore, anyone who comes into the tent, anyone whose understanding of Torah is such that is going to somehow impurify us, that we contract this negativity towards the Torah, because that's not really what it all is about. The Meir Shiloh takes it another way. He says, if someone thinks that they know the Torah, I know, I got it all, I figured it all out, so that's tumat mate, and it's not alive, it's just a sort of a dead Torah, and therefore it comes the Para Aduma, the red heifer, to be so confusing that you can't possibly think you understand it. Right, that it's supposed to be bewildering, and that opens to us the doors of not knowing, and from that not knowing, we can have curiosity and desire to get to know God, and then we're right back where we need to be, using the Torah and the mitzvot as a means to connect to Hashem, and not merely as an instruction manual. Shabbat Shalom.